Hey everyone, welcome back to the Budget Sportsman. Today I want to talk to you about G5 Montec broadheads. Now sometimes when you're on a budget, the budget can get the best of you, and that's kind of what happened in this situation. So for several years I've been shooting some very cheap broadheads off of Amazon, and I was just unhappy with the results. I wasn't getting pass-throughs on deer that I thought I should have been, and just totally unhappy. And so I did some research and settled on wanting to buy the G5 Montec broadheads. I like their cut-on-contact design. I like the solid body instead of fiddling with little replaceable blades. And I liked how easy it looked like they were to sharpen. And so I asked them for my birthday, and my wife found these on eBay at a greatly, significantly reduced rate. I actually saw them before she even ordered them, and I got super excited that there was a good deal on some broadheads. I just thought somebody had changed their mind and was selling these broadheads. A little while later, I was on YouTube, and I noticed a video from G5 talking about the fact that there was counterfeit broadheads. So instantly I thought, oh no, ours are from eBay, they were a really good price, I bet they were counterfeits. So I sent them some pictures, and sure enough, they confirmed that they were indeed counterfeit broadheads. Now the thing that really scared me about going ahead and using these broadheads is that in their testing, on their video, they showed a weighted system where they dropped the broadhead into a piece of aluminum, and the real one punched into the aluminum with no damage. It cut into the aluminum, whereas the fake one actually just crumbled. And I started thinking, what if I hit a deer bone? I want it to punch through. I don't want it to crumble the broadhead. But of course we don't shoot aluminum. So I ended up going out and buying some genuine G5 Montec broadheads, and that's what I used for this hunting season. But I also did some shooting to compare the two. Now I'm going to show you that footage in just a minute. Now I hope you'll stick around to the end, because I want to give you my conclusion on these broadheads, and I also want to give you some clues of how you might tell real broadheads from the fake ones. So let's take a look at that footage when I went out to compare these broadheads, and then we'll come back and give the final thoughts. So in order to test these broadheads, I wanted to actually come out and do a little bit of shooting. Right here I've got the genuine G5 Montec broadhead, and we're going to start with a little bit of an accuracy test from 20 yards, see how we do. We're going to start with the genuine first, then the fake, using the same arrow both times. Let's see what happens. So this was my shot with the genuine Montec broadhead. Alright, we're going to go ahead and shoot the knockoff fake G5 Montec from 20 yards. So at 20 yards, the fake one is still hitting pretty well, nothing to complain about. Let's move back and see if we can find any inconsistencies as we move further back. Well, I will readily admit to you that as we move back here, my shooting abilities could play a factor in this. So we're just going to see what happens. Once again, starting with the genuine G5 Montec, and we're going to shoot from 40 yards. Well, hopefully you saw that last broadhead from G5 Montec, the genuine one, was a touch high, but it was still within that white zone from 40 yards. That's within probably my shooting abilities. Let's see what happens with the knockoff one. Again, 40 yards. That looks like it's within the white spot again. Really can't complain about that from a knockoff broadhead. Okay everyone, I took 3 shots with each broadhead. 2 with each broadhead from 20 yards and 1 from each broadhead from 40 yards. And as you can see, every single one was within this white square. This is probably about 4 inches by 3 inches. These 2 shots were here previously from some previous shooting. Every single one was within this white space. I think there was a couple that were a little bit higher than the rest, but actually 4 of the 6 shots were right here in a super tight group. I honestly was expecting maybe some accuracy issues from the fake one, but at least with this limited amount of testing, I don't see any. Let's get on to the next test. All right, so for the next test, I'm really excited about trying this. I have a fresh front deer leg here. Now this is from the doe I shot a few nights ago. Got the front leg with the scapula, and I got some deer skin over it. So I'm going to try shooting this shoulder blade scapula part here with both broadheads. I've got 2 legs. We'll see how the broadheads do on penetration through bone. We're going to start again with the genuine G5 Montec broadhead. Well, unfortunately, I had hoped that I wasn't going to break any arrows doing this test, but unfortunately that didn't happen. The arrow is here at an angle, and I haven't touched anything here yet. Here's a piece of arrow. I don't know where the knock end of the arrow is, so something definitely broke, but I can see where I went through the skin here. Let's lift the skin up, and I definitely shot straight through this shoulder blade Maybe we'll get you a close-up of that, but went right through with the G5 genuine Montec. Absolutely no problems at all. All right, so now we got another arrow. We've got the knockoff G5 Montec, and just to be clear and sure, we put a new shoulder on here. This is not the same one. Got it covered up with the skin again, but it's a new shoulder blade on that side. So let's see what happens with the knockoff G5 Montec broadhead. Alright, so once again, I broke my arrow on this shot. The arrow deflected down and back to the left a little bit. Let's see what happened where I hit. Alright, once again, I hit right here and it did quite a bit of damage. Now, the second time I shot at this, that was actually the third time. The first time I glanced right off the side, second time I glanced off the bottom, and this time went straight through here. So there's a good bit of damage between those last two shots, but it did definitely go straight through. Now, in neither shot, neither broadhead, did I hit this part of the bone over here that's actually like a T. You're just going through this big flat area. All right, guys, so here is the knockoff broadhead. After being shot at and through that shoulder blade 3 times, going into the dirt 3 times, and I don't see any major chipping on it. It's not deformed, certainly covered in mud, certainly going to be dull, but really does not look that bad. Well, as I said, those results kind of surprised me. I honestly did not expect the fake broadheads to do as well as they did. In the accuracy test, both the real and the fake, my results were within about a 3-inch circle, both at 20 and 40 yards. Honestly, that's within about the realm of my abilities, especially from 40 yards. As far as the test through the bone, both broadheads punched right through the bone when I hit in the middle. A couple of the shots that I did actually glanced off the side, but when I hit it dead in the middle, it went straight through with both broadheads. So those tests kind of left me with the question of, well, what should I do? Should I use these fake broadheads or not? And that's the question I want to kind of answer for you. Should you use these fake knockoff G5 Montec broadheads or not? Well, I think the issue comes down to a bit of an ethical question. And for me, the answer is I would never recommend you to go out and buy these fake broadheads. Now, if the people making these broadheads were to go out and market them under a different name or make their own design and do that, fine, use them. But I just cannot recommend you to buy somebody who's producing something that may be copyrighted. I don't know if there's a copyright issue, but certainly they're copying somebody else's work. They're certainly trying to present themselves as being genuine when they're not. And so I don't like being lied to. I don't like buying things under false pretense. And certainly would not recommend you to go out and support that kind of a business practice. On the other hand, if you've already bought them and you're like me and you didn't know and you already have them and now you're wondering should you use them or should you not use them, honestly, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't use them. The accuracy was just fine, performed fine for me. Now, I will have to tell you that there are multiple knockoffs out there and each one may be different, but the ones that I got seem to perform just fine. Now, before we go, I want to point out a few ways that you can detect whether or not you're buying real or fake broadheads. Now, the first thing I want to point out to you that might help you determine whether or not you're buying real or knockoff broadheads is the package design. You can see in this package, it's got like a gray, sort of greenish, I don't know what color it is, textured pattern there behind the blue bar. And I've noticed recently in some stores, I'll throw a picture up here, that the packaging is black behind that blue bar. Now, when I first noticed this, I thought that that meant that this was the fake design and that the real design had black. But I was able to confirm with G5 directly that this is actually an old design that they used to produce their broadheads in a package like this, and now they do in the black. So the packaging may not be a perfect indicator because that black background honestly is going to be pretty easy for the counterfeiters to reproduce. But I would at least say if you're looking at a package like this, it would at least give me cause to stop and double check to make sure I'm buying real broadheads because this is the old design from G5. The second way is these collars that come on the broadhead. On the fake ones, and this is directly from G5, what G5 told me, is that on the fake ones, they are cloudy. And on the real ones, again, I don't have the collar with me, that's from a real one, but the collar for the real one will be clear. And the last way is just looking at blade angles. So the blade angle on the fake is wider. Both of them are advertised as having a 1 1/16 inch cutting diameter, but they're measured differently. So on the fake one, it's actually 1 and almost 1/16 between the tip of one blade to the tip of another. But that's not how the circumference or the cutting diameter is normally measured. As a matter of fact, it's not even how it's listed on the back of the fake packaging. So if you measure according to the way that it's on the back of the fake packaging, this does not match. So this is a larger cutting diameter. So the real one is actually less than an inch between the point of one blade and the point of another blade. But the diameter of that circle that it would make would be 1 1/16 inches. I hope this helps you make an informed decision when you're buying your G5 Montec broadheads. My recommendation is to stay away from eBay and even Amazon, and to buy from a reputable sporting goods retailer, especially like your local bow shop, when you can buy them in person and check them out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I hope you consider giving me a thumbs up or subscribe if you're new to the channel. And until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors into God's great creation.